Welcome, everybody. This is Jason, and the name of this week's workshop is Compare and Contrast. This is a comparison of mods. So we're looking at some clothing tools and some all-in-one mods and how they're similar and how they're different. What's the workshop about? This workshop is a comparison of several of the more well-known mods, InSimenator, SimManipulator, and SimBlender, as well as two clothing utilities, Gussy Up and Pescado's clothing tool. What even are these? SimManipulator, InSimenator, and SimBlender are in-game objects controllable by the sim, and they control various aspects of gameplay, budgets, motives, inventories, and so on. Gussy Up is a plugin to the Sim's Pie menu that controls various aspects of clothing and appearance. And Pescado's clothing tool is a category by itself. It is an in-game tool that lets you control how a sim dresses and how a sim appears. And these are the links to each of these different items, each of these different mods. All of these are also linked in the resource post. So starting with the OG, the InSimenator. This was created by Eric at the actual site InSimenator around 2008. And essentially what it does, it takes the testing cheats enabled cheat codes and turns them into a modded object for convenience. So you don't have to enter testing cheats enabled. You basically have all of the functions of testing cheats enabled at your command with the InSimenator. And this is how it looks in game. You can see it's the biotech station, but each different tile, the right menu, the center menu, the left menu, and the seat, you click on different parts of the object and it enables different functions of the InSimenator. Then we have the Sim Manipulator. This was created by Erroneous. It was basically, he didn't like the way that the original InSimenator was organized, so he organized Sim Manipulator a different way. Personally, this is my weapon of choice. This is the one that I like because the way that it is organized makes the most sense to me, but you do you. Try them all. You can have all of them in the game at the same time, and it's not an issue. And this is what the Sim Manipulator's menu looks like. So there's one object in the catalog that you can click on, and it does all of these different things. And then there are a bunch of sub-objects as well. Each different sub-object controls one aspect of the menu here. Then we have SimBlender. And with this one, I would recommend that you go with Gummy's version with the latest improvements by Pick and Mix and Gummy, because it has better ways to teleport sims into the lot. It makes them easier to find if you're trying to locate one specific sim. And this is what the SimBlender looks like. It's just a potted plant, and you can click on it and you can do basically anything that you can do in InSimenator and Sim Manipulator. And then we have Gussy Up. This was created by Christian Love. The last version was edited by Lingering Wilkes at Mod The Sims. Basically, what Gussy Up does is a sim menu plugin. So you have to click on the sim in order to access the menu. And it has a bunch of different functionality as far as wardrobe and appearance. And this is the Gussy Up menu. So you click on the sim, you get this menu and Pescado's clothing tool. So this is a standalone object. It looks like basically a pile of clothes, but the way that it works with any of the regular clothing tools, like with InSimenator, with Sim Manipulator, with SimBlender, you can buy clothes and add them to the family's closet. With Pescado's clothing tool, it just picks the clothes that the sim is going to dress in without adding them to the family inventory, which is really convenient if you test a lot of clothes. The way that Gummy's version works better, for example, if you pick a top and a bottom with the OG version, it considers these one outfit. So you can't go back and pick the bottom with a different top. You have to go and pick a new set of clothing and then pick the top and the correct bottom once again. With Gummy's edit, you can pick the clothes the sim is currently wearing, and that's super handy. And this is what the clothing tool looks like. It has these menus in it, and it's extremely handy if you test a lot of clothes. So I've got my test sim Abby here, and let's plop down the InSimenator first. So this is the InSimenator, this is the OG. So if we click on the left menu here, we've got age, we've got appearance, we've got day and time, and we've got vacation. And then, for example, we go into the vacation menu, we can add and subtract days. So this is everything that has to do with age and time. We go to the center menu. This is all of the impregnation options. And then if we go here to the right menu, we've got fitness, motives, aspiration. We can delete sims, or we can delete cockroaches and trash and that kind of thing. We can mess with influence, change our name, change status, and do all of that. And then if we click on the chair, this controls relationships, jealousy. Here we can spawn sims in. We've got basically the option to kill the sim. So it's organized a little bit differently. And if you go to the buy menu, and we go to electronics, all, these are all of the different sub objects. So we've got property adjuster, social adjuster, wardrobe adjuster. These are all different sub objects of the InSimenator. And each of those, for example, we pop in mortality adjuster, can change the way that a sim walks. So we got default walk, ghost, we got grim reaper, zombie. So that's kind of cool. That's the InSimenator. And then we pop in the sim manipulator, and this is my weapon of choice. So we click on InSimenator. We got motives, buy. This is basically buy everything. This is an in-home store. Change clothes, skills, hobby enthusiasm, career, miscellaneous, alter time, health. We can mess with badges. We can mess with relationships, change family. These are available in InSimenator, but they're organized a little bit differently. I think they're more logically organized in SimManipulator. And then if you go to, okay, so I apologize. Actually, for sub objects, what you need to do with InSimenator is click on an area. So we're going to have to move this for a minute. It has to be bare ground. So if we click here, we can spawn all of the different sub objects. These are sub objects for the sim manipulator. So say I want to go health manipulator. So we click here, we go health, and you have all of the health menus for the sim manipulator. All of the different options for making the sim sick and well and all of that. Why is this in the way? Okay, so that's the sim manipulator. The only thing I keep from InSimenator is the clothing sub-object, because I like the way that InSimenator does clothing better than the way that SimManipulator does it. Like, you can buy clothing for the sub-object as well. Actually, if Pescado's clothing tool had dress group and, dress group per outfit, it would be perfect. I would not need that, but that's a subject for another day. So that is the SimManipulator. Now, SimBlender. So it's basically the same thing, but it's a different flavor. It's organized just a little bit differently. So if we go miscellaneous, we can change model, and we can change the temperature. We can change the lot temperature. Aging, just a little bit different. Appearance, aspiration, so it does basically everything that InSimenator and SimManipulator do, but it's organized, the menu is organized just a little bit differently. And these are Gummy's improvements. So if you're looking for a specific age of sim or a specific pool of sims, you can use Gummy Spawner to spawn them in. Very handy feature. And then let's look at Gussy Up. So we click on our sim, Gussy Up. We got change appearance, plastic surgery, change into, plan outfit. These are basically what you've got in any of the other modded objects, but buy clothes, buy jewelry. What a neat feature of Gussy Up is we can just go check outfits and watch what happens. She cycles through all of the planned outfits that you have. And what happens when we go change everything? So another thing that you can do with Gussy Up, it stacks all of these options together so you can completely give your sim a full-on makeover. There it is. Okay, so what I like about Gussy Up as compared to Pescado's clothing tool, it lets you know what you're actually choosing. So you have this dialogue box as to what she can pick out. And I'm going to have to blur that. So it lets you buy an outfit and then pick clothing. And you can see the dialog box changes to swimsuit and then formal. And it takes it a while to cycle through these. Oh boy, that's too hot for YouTube. And then gym clothes. So you cycle through, you buy and then you plan. And then underwear. And outerwear. And then you can actually change her facial structure. This is all part of the same interaction. Buy jewelry, change appearance. And the initial warning is because she is not actually part of the Broligarchy family. When she buys, these items are not permanently added to the family's closet. And then let's look at Pescado's clothing tool. This also has a lot of features that are unique to it. So we click on this. We've got pick new clothes, and this picks basically everything. Then we've got regenerate portraiture, pick accessories, dress me in. So this is basically just change into whatever outfit, like dress me in outerwear, and then change my. And this is like, if you only want to change one outfit, you can use this. But if you go pick new clothes, it's going to cycle through everything. So this is everyday, swimsuit, formal, pajamas, and that is gym clothes, and that is underwear and outerwear. And then it allows you to change her appearance. So this one is super handy just because it doesn't permanently add anything to the closet. So you can, let me change my everyday, for example. And with Gummy's new features, so say I like the dress that she's wearing, but I just want to give her a different colored top, for example. So we go to, where'd it go? No, too far. Okay, these are all of the tops for that set. So let's say I want her to have kind of a wine colored top and the same skirt. So see, she's already wearing that blue skirt in every day. So with the previous version, this wouldn't be, or no, sorry. How far up is it? That's black. Her original skirt wouldn't be available to her. So we pick her every day. And then no, change into or dress me in every day. And so she can pick the same skirt with a different top, which is very handy. And that's pretty much it. Those are all of the mods that I intended to review.
I've never personally used InSimenator. I know a lot of people who do. One thing, what? I was going to say one thing I wouldn't. Sorry, keep talking over you. I was like, if you're a storyteller, one thing, difference between the manipulator and the blender is when you make a sim selectable, there's like a limitation with the blender when you make it like do the teleport makes them selectable. There's like limitation of what all they can do in the household because of a flag that's set differently. And when you make them selectable with the manipulator, they can do a lot more, like they're a part of the household. That was one thing I did note between the two when I started using manipulator.
Yeah. Yeah, they just, I don't know, they're just tiny differences that make one better than the other at certain things, but there is no
Exactly.
there is no one
toolable.
this one is definitely better than the other two. There
Mhm.
just isn't because of the way that they're organized. I don't know. I might pick Gummy's brain about going into Pescado's clothing tool and just adding an option like group every day or group gym clothes or something, because that is
Mhm.
the only
'Cause the
feature that I think is lacking.
and it's definitely it's doable because it's on the SimBlender under the clothing option, like, dress all,
Yeah.
like, everybody into everyday, yeah. That's what I use the SimBlender for a lot, was
Yeah,
dressing
I mean
everybody, but I do love the clothing
yeah.
tool
The
as
only
well.
reason that I don't completely remove InSimenator is because I like InSimenator's sub-object for clothing better than Sim Manipulators. I think it just does it, that one thing InSimenator is just better at. But I don't know. That's just me.
The other thing was, SimBlender and Manipulator, there are slight differences. The whole reason I actually got Sim Manipulator was because I had a Sim get pregnant and she was gonna have twins, and I'm like, I don't want twins because I don't have room for twins. And on the Blender, you can't like get rid of just one twin. On Manipulator, you can. You can manipulate pregnancy that way, and select the number of babies between one and two.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't use that feature and I wasn't
Hmm.
completely aware of that. What
And there's also a way to manipulate party time on the manipulator that's not on the blender that I found out. So like if you have a date and you're like, oh, it's not going good, I want an extra hour, you can add an extra hour to like an outing or a date. Um, and then also you can add vacation days to your Sims on the manipulator, but you can't do that on the blender.